I feel like I should be talking to you Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You need to report into me. If you've got people that work remotely and you don't see them on a daily basis or a weekly basis or a monthly basis, now if they go, I don't really need to meet with you at all. You can't just be like, oh, well, I'm out. If you don't do those things, it is absolutely going to fade. The way I look at remote work is it's the same as having a long distance relationship, you know? Because I had a long distance relationship with my wife when we met. She was from overseas and we were long distance. So what do you do if you don't actively work for a long distance relationship? What will happen to it? It will die. It will die. You have to put some kind of an effort into it. And so it's the same thing here. You know, if you've got people that work remotely and you don't see them on a daily basis or a weekly basis or a monthly basis, if you're not actively trying to make sure that those connections are there and that you understand what's happening and you're providing them with support and you're listening to what they have to say and you're treating them with respect, if you don't do those things, it is absolutely going to fade. So that's part one. Now, if you go too far into that, and now we're getting into micromanagement zone, and I think as soon as I get someone pushing back on me, it's like, oh, hey, I'm sorry. That's on me. You know, I just want to make sure I'm giving you the support that you need. How often do you want me checking in with you to make sure that these things are happening? Or, you know, just that, it's that simple to me. Now, you could get someone that kind of wants that long distance relationship to be very distant, right? Like they don't want to hear from their boss very much. And then I go back to my question earlier of why. If you work for me and you're getting your job done, and you're like, hey, we don't need to have that meeting Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We can just do it on Friday. And I'm like, okay, let's try it. You see what I'm saying? Because, well, no, I feel like I should be talking to you Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You need to report into me. Well, no, if you're getting your job done, and you just want to check in with me on Friday just to make sure, hey, let's try that. I'm open to it. We stick with things in our head that we just made up. And because we made it up, it must be the best freaking idea ever. So when my subordinate, my peer, my boss, my wife, my kid comes to me with an idea, I go, let's give that a try. Unless it's just like the most ridiculously tactically unsound thing ever. I have 3 daughters and 1 son, and like I very, very apply what I just said to my kids. And my son was just basically like, do what you want. And there's like, somebody asked me a question like, hey, when's the last time you take extreme ownership? There's so few times with my kids that I was like, no, you can't do that I remember them. Think about that. If you got kids, you're always like, no, don't do that, no, don't do that, no, don't do that, no, don't do that. And instead of be like, see how that works out. You know, like, my son, when he was like maybe 14, and like the riots were happening in 2020, riots were happening, and he was like, oh yeah, I'm going downtown tonight. And I was like, oh, what are you going down there for? He's like, there's going to be riots. I'm going to check it out. And I'm like, actually, no, you're not. And the funny thing was, he reacted to it like, he was surprised. He was like, no, just the riots. I'm just going downtown. I'm not gonna be in them. I'm just gonna go check them out. You know, it's gonna be riots. And I was like, yeah, no, you're not doing that. And I kind of explained to him, I said, hey, there's going to be like violence that is not under control, or there potentially could be violence that's not under control. Whether it's bombs that go off, whether it's police that are shooting, whether it's Molotov cocktails that are getting thrown, there's no reason for you to go volunteer to be in that storm, and you ain't going. But that's the type of thing, like every other kind of stupid, like, hey, I'm going to go do this, hey, I'm going to do that. It's like, okay, cool, see how it works. And sometimes you got to let your kids and your employees brush up against the guardrails of failure. And if they make it, they learn something, and you gained their trust because you trusted them. So I would, again, we're definitely going to build the relationship. And if they want to say, hey, you're micromanaging me. Okay, well, what makes sense to you? You tell me. You tell me. I trust you. Yeah, I trust you. You only want to meet once a week? Now, if they go, I don't really need to meet with you at all. You can be like, okay, well, then can you submit the stuff early so I at least have time to review it so I can make, you see what I'm saying? You got to find some kind of, you're responsible for it, so you got to track it. You can't just be like, oh, well, I'm out. Make sense? Cool.